And I'm Nathan Connolly. We're going to start today's show with a guy who gets a lot of calls at work.
The calls really are of one or two varieties. One is, I am in trouble. The FBI knocked on my door. What do I do?
This is Elliot Burke, a lawyer in Washington, D.C. Burke specializes in congressional ethics.
Or, hey, I've assumed some office, or we're taking on some new initiative. We want to make sure we don't have any problems moving forward.
Burke helps elected officials and staffers figure out if what they're doing or what they've done is corrupt. He's counseled plenty of heavy hitters, including former House Majority Leader Tom DeLay. Now, whether or not you're corrupt seems pretty straightforward, right? But it's not. This, after all, is Washington, D.C. Burke says that a few years ago, a congressional staffer came to him with a predicament. Did she face any ethics issues in accepting an engagement ring?
If your boyfriend or girlfriend wants to propose to you and gives you a ring, technically speaking, that needs to be pre-cleared by the ethics committees.
Why? Because members of Congress and staffers are not allowed to receive gifts worth more than $50. Unless, says Burke, the recipient can prove the gift is from a personal friend. That can get complicated in the highly networked world of Washington. Sometimes personal relationships come under scrutiny.
I had a conversation with one of the ethics councils in which I was told that it was actually better if you were living with your boyfriend or girlfriend, because then it shows a history of sort of sharing the rent and, reciprocal gifts back and forth than if you were living apart.
Burke says that a lot of these convoluted rules are the products of scandals that have rocked Capitol Hill over the years.
Most of what we still see are knee-jerk reactions to scandal that creates very arcane and, I think, impractical rules to address something that, had proper enforcement been in play, the laws on the books and the rules on the books could have addressed the situation.
One example, says Burke, is the reform passed in the wake of the Jack Abramoff lobbying scandal a few years back. Abramoff, you may remember, was a powerful lobbyist who lavished gifts on members of Congress in exchange for votes that benefited his clients. Right after passing this particular set of reforms, the House Ethics Committee sent out a memo clarifying some of the new rules.
In this memo, they said that a member may accept a $15 baseball cap with a corporate logo of a company, but they could not accept a $12 coffee mug from the same company with the same logo. I don't know if a coffee mug has a greater utility than a baseball cap, but while we appreciate the clarity on that point, it still can be very frustrating to try to explain to somebody that, that's where they ended up.
Now, Burke does believe there should be strong ethics guidelines on the books, but the current patchwork system of rules also means that he spends a lot of time parsing the difference between mugs and caps, while truly questionable deals are perfectly legal. Consider this example. Under current rules, a lobbyist is not allowed to take a lawmaker out to lunch, unless the lunch isn't just a lunch.
They can turn around and take that member of Congress as a candidate to lunch as a fundraiser and pass him a $500 check. That's perfectly permissible, but I'm not sure from a civic perspective that that's the most sensible environment to operate.